Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's Season 4, Episode 2, and today we've got a big home game as promised against High Flyers Bath in the Vanarama National League South. But first, you can probably see already, we've been a little inconsistent so far this season. We're just about meeting our goals in the top half in 11th place at the moment, but things have certainly not been plain sailing. We have got a game in hand, which is this one today, so hopefully if we win that, we'll be back in playoff contention. However, when you were last with me, we did have some troubles. We had some positions where we didn't have any players at all, and our director of football had been very inactive in the transfer window. He has started to rectify that now with some late signings, but we're still not completely perfect for where we'd like to be at this point, especially going into a game against a side that are unbeaten in their first 8 games. So let's show you the transfers first, because obviously there'll be a few spoilers in the results. There's one our director of football's trying to bring in at the moment, and loads of the players that he'd signed on non-contract terms are being offered deals to go elsewhere now, but they keep rejecting them for some reason, but we'll be happy to keep the strength in depth. So the one he's trying to bring in is on a proper contract. It's a 17-year-old, which is a slight change of approach from him. I haven't seen him sign a really young player with potential yet. He's tended to get either non-contract players, loanees, or one who's ready for the first team already. So the likes of Aaron Jarvis and Jack Bridge are good examples of that. And obviously Rob Atkinson last year, who was 34. So it's definitely a change of approach from him. But if we look at him, Yakubu Ezekiel, I think that is. Again, apologies if it's wrong. He doesn't fit perfectly into our game plan because he's naturally an attacking right winger, but he can play on the right of midfield and in the centre too. Technically, he's quite good for a 17-year-old and quite good for this level in particular. He's determined, although mentally he's pretty poor aside from that, and physically he's okay, but I can see he's recovering from a broken lower leg, so that may be why he's not in perfect physical condition for a youngster. He's come from Southampton though. I'm presuming they released him because of the injury, and I actually think he might have a decent career here if we can sort his personality out quickly so he can start to develop again. So if that one goes through, I'll be pretty happy. Let's see if anyone else is in for him. Oh dear, Morecambe and Oldham are in. I shouldn't have even bothered showing you him. We've got the oldest offer, and the fact he's delayed shows he's going to go to them. He's hoping Rafe Rovers make an offer according to the interest bar. But either way, we're definitely not going to be signing that man. But I guess the fact that those sort of clubs are after him shows that our director of football has found a decent talent there, and hopefully he can find a few more too. But if we look at the ones that have actually gone through, there are 4 more since the last episode, 3 of them on loans and 1 a free transfer. So the first loanee is the one we were looking at during the episode, Adam Clark, the left back. Really poor technically and defensively, but he's good physically and he works really hard, and mentally he's quite strong for a young age. Again, he's only 17 years of age, on loan from Walsall in League 1. 3.5 star with 5-star potential. He's played all 7 games since he's been here as our only left back option, and he's done pretty averagely so far, though he has been an exceptional trainer. Next on the list is Leon Francis, another loanee, a position we didn't really need, a target man up front, but he's been welcomed into the club. He's a decent player, he hasn't shown it on the pitch yet, but gives us another option. I don't think he's going to break the starting partnership of Jarvis and Jatta, but he's a very good sub option, especially with Gay moving into his 30s and starting to decline. Third on the list is our only permanent signing since the last episode, Kwame Asigwe. I'm presuming I haven't pronounced that right. Again, I can only apologise. A 19-year-old centre-half, probably the first one in this change of approach. 3.5-star ability with 5-star potential. Really good in the tackle and at marking. Strong positionally and jumping reach. He's got all the attributes for a centre-half. And he's also got a fairly professional personality, which is something that's so rare at this level. And we're delighted to have him on board at his young age. He's straight into the first 11, and I've no doubt he'll be a brilliant player for us this season. He's played 2 games already, and he's got a rating above a 7. And last but not least is Will Callaghan on loan from NK Dons, the franchise itself. He's an attacking left winger, again a position we needed a player. We only had the non-contract Luke Fairlamb, who wasn't even good enough to get a kick last season. But he's a 3-star left winger with 5-star potential. He's more happy in the attacking role, but again can play left midfield. And if by some miracle we do get Yakubu, we could consider changing shape if need be. But he's got all the attributes and he's really quick. Someone who's going to be good physically for us and has done okay in his couple of appearances so far. But I am starting to like what the director of football's doing here. I just wish he'd start to do things earlier in the window, because those first 5 or 6 games tend to cost us a place at the top of the playoffs by the end of the season. Last season, if it wasn't for our start, we would have been right up there in the top three and avoided that playoff quarter-final and avoided the semi against Bromley, which is all the more important. But not bad business overall, and we look forward to him doing some more over the next month or so. But hopefully there'll be a job come up at the bottom of League 2 or in the National League, and we can start to move on in this career now we've proven ourselves at the lower level. The reason I say that now is because in addition to our increased reputation from our performance last year, we have completed our first coaching badge and have gone up to a full star of reputation. I know it's still minimal, but it gives us a little bit more weight behind our job applications, and the fact that there's less compensation to pay might help lower clubs now too, especially as some of them are struggling financially. And you can see our attributes are starting to come along quite nicely as well, even in terms of our coaching ones, that we don't do much on the training ground, but we're up to 6, 7s and 8s, which is something not to be sniffed at, and our man management is considered our best attribute, which for those players that started the revolts at Hemel Hempstead and Dungannon is a real nice thing for me to see, to prove that they were wrong, and I just got 2 unlucky clubs at the start. The last thing before the game today is our schedule. You want to see what's been happening since you were last with me. It's been real inconsistent, patchy form. We've had 2 little runs of results, very strange indeed. Obviously you're with me for the Bromley game on the opening day. We then played Canvey Island away from home, one of the relegation favourites. They managed to hold us off for the first half, but we were by far the better side and deservedly got 3 goals in the second half. Makaka with a brace, again one of those from a knockdown from the corner, the other a brilliant finish, and Seika Jatta got his first of the season. However, we then had 3 back-to-back defeats. They're all against sides expected to be in the top half, so I guess we can't complain too much, and this was obviously before we'd filled in some of those positions. So we lost at home to Chelmsford 2-1, Pappy Gay got a goal off the bench, but we were already 2-0 down. You can see from the lineup on the right that this was before the likes of Francis came in, as well as our left winger Callaghan, so we were a little bit short in some areas, and we didn't have our new centre-half at this stage either. We then went away to Hemel Hempstead and it wasn't quite as sweet a victory as last year. We lost 3-1 with Scrimshaw, McCoy and Witcherlow getting the goals. Aaron Jarvis scoring to equalise just before half time. But it wasn't enough and we went down in this one too. Again, none of those 3 players had signed yet. We then followed it up with a 3rd successive defeat at home to Woking. Leon Francis was here at this point. Aside from that, we didn't have anyone else at the club. It was just 3 days after the previous game, so the likes of Fairlam and Kane weren't fit, and it meant that Seika Jatta played on the left wing, and we looked absolutely awful in defeat. However, we then played one of the relegation favourites, Farnborough, away from home and did exactly the same to them as we did to Canvey Island. Jatta with a brace, including one from the penalty spot, sandwiched by an Aaron Jarvis goal just before half-time. A comfortable 3-0 win and the 2 strikers continuing their good partnership. And into September, since we've had the new signings, most notably the centre-half who's had 3 clean sheets in 3 games, with Will Callaghan playing in these 2 games as well. 2 1-0 wins, efficient, consistent and not looking like conceding. Seika Jatta with an early goal in the 1-0 win against Welling, and then away to Maidenhead it was a late goal from Makaka that won us the game. So let's get into it and see the lineup for today. Unfortunately, where we've moved grounds, we're now at Grosvenor Vale and we're ground sharing with another side, so we're having a few games moved to Sunday, which is causing a bit of chaos with the schedule. But let's not worry about all that. We'll show you the lineup for today's game. It's pretty much as expected, but we have made a few tactical tweaks since the last episode, just to try and get the best out of some of the new signings, particularly the loanees. So Adam Clark, the left back, has moved to an attacking duty on the left-hand side, and that means that Rowe, the central midfielder, has dropped to a defensive deep-lying playmaker, just to cover that left side of the pitch. Callaghan's obviously in on the left, and we've got an overlapping fullback there, so we're hoping that those 2 will be able to cause absolute chaos down that side. Whereas Williams Lowe will be a bit more defensive on the right-hand side, and the idea is that when Clark goes surging forward, they'll become almost like a narrow 3 at the back, with Rowe sitting just in front. Jarvis is staying on his target man role in attack because he scored a few goals from there, and him and Jatta are working well, with both having a rating above a 7. And to be honest, aside from that right back area and perhaps one central midfielder, I'm pretty happy with where the squad is at the moment. They're the only 2 we really need in terms of the first 11. Obviously, if we can get that right winger in, it does give us some depth. It's a position we don't have any backup strength whatsoever. We tend to be bringing the central midfielder Jack Bridge on when we need a right winger, and his crossing ability is 3, so it's not ideal. And we could probably do with a backup left back, but what would be more ideal is if we got a first choice right back who could also cover on the left, a bit like Daly is in midfield. So the full lineup for today is our sweeper keeper Idem in goal, Williams, Lowe and Clark are the fullbacks, with a Sigwe and Okadina in the middle, Daly and Callaghan are on the wings with Rowe and McCarker in central midfield and Jarvis and Jatta the deadly duo up front. The bench is made up of Francis plus some of the usual suspects, so let's get into this and see if we can get a result against a side that haven't lost a game yet this season. Two teams playing a 4-4-2, that's what we like to see in non-league, and we go into this one trying to encourage the lads. I don't know if there's anything else we can say to them. I think we'll just say go out and impress me. But we've got kick-off now with Aaron Jarvis. Goes all the way back to Okadina and his long clearance is cleared away by Bath. They're coming straight forward from the centre kick and that's not what we wanted to see at the start of this game. Okadina wins a header to get it away again and Harper loses the ball to Rowe who clears. But a couple of minutes gone and now they've got a corner. No wonder the stadium's cut off so much of the pitch. The roof where we've got the low view, it's just because we've moved grounds again. But Jatta's in one-on-one. It's saved by the keeper and they still survive. Zooming out doesn't help because it just means you can't see the rest of the pitch either. Rowe gets it to McCarker who goes back to Rowe again. We're going on the front foot now, which is good to see. Rowe in that deep line roll, a terrible pass, and he's just put it out for a throw-in on the halfway line. Absolutely terrible play, and how he's got a good passing rating, I don't know. Harper gets the ball out from the corner to Boardley. Harper again on the edge of the box for Bath. Daly intercepts and is cleared, but no one's there bar the Bath defender. Walker gets the ball up to Christian Montano, a really good player at this level, played plenty of times in the Football League. Templeton, the right back, now goes back to Boardley, and Walker again in the middle playing a 1-2 with him. Walker's got the ball 35 yards out in the middle. He's been allowed to come forward, but he shoots from just outside the D, and thankfully he's put it comfortably over the bar. It's Idem with a free kick just inside his own area. Up towards Jarvis who loses out in the air. A lovely turn by the centre forward for Bath. Out to Harper on the right hand side. Cross deflects back to Templeton. On the edge to Walker who's going to have a shot again, is he? He can't. McCarker gets there first. A brilliant tackle from him. And Rowe gives it away again. What an awful start to the game he's had. Walker gets the ball back to Boardley and Walker again in midfield. Those two have dominated the game, though McCarker's basically playing in there on his own at the moment, with Rowe being no help at all. Jarvis goes over the top for Jatta, but he doesn't get there. And why is this highlight so long? Walker's got in. Oh, he's beaten the young centre-half, but he then makes a good save, and Okadina clears out for a throw-in. What a save by the keeper, and it's a corner kick now for Bath. Willis knocks it down for Potts, it deflects in, and who's that who's got the own goal there? Don't tell me it's Rowe again, please. I'm trying to click to find out it's Callaghan. I don't know why it wasn't letting me see his name, but we're 1-0 down with 12 minutes gone, and Luke Rowe has been absolutely atrocious in this game. Walker coming forward for Slough in midfield, finds Montano on the left, it deflects off a couple of people for Daly. His clearance goes straight into Sanders, the man who rejected us to go on loan here, which is why we ended up with Clark. Walker shoots again, Harper with the rebound, and two of the luckiest goals you will ever see. Means that we're 2-0 down and have pretty much no chance in this game. Luke Rowe's been atrocious. We've been so sloppy in possession and you can tell this side have been unbeaten this year. We certainly won't be winning a fourth game on the bounce in this one. Boardley shoots from the edge and it's over and we're going to have an absolute go at the team now. They're fired up by the feedback, but let's see if that actually turns into a decent performance. Idem with a free kick outside his own box. Jarvis knocks it down for Rowe who goes over the top. He's giving it away again. This is absolutely ridiculous. We're going to be taking him off at half time. He might not even make it to there at this rate. Montano finds Walker in the middle. Walker into the box unopposed. Shoots but the keeper makes a save. And he's the only reason we're not more than 2 goals down. Montano with a cross which is cleared again. We've been so bad in possession. I've never seen us anything like it. The ball's blocked by Okadina and it's behind for a corner. And you know what? After this attack, Rowe's coming off. I've had enough. The corner's going to be an in-swinger, is it? It's not. It's an out-swinger towards Montano. Headed away by Okadina. It's knocked down for Banks and a Sigwe clears. Jatta brings it down brilliantly. Gets it out to the right to Daly who puts Jatta in behind. Can he give us a chance? A sniff in this game undeservedly. He can't. His cross is there but no one's in the middle. He would have been the only man attacking it and it's cleared away. The highlight ends and with 10 minutes to half time we're 2-0 down. It's a throw on the left for Sanders. Back to Walker on the edge. Again no challenge and pressure on the ball. Boardley out to the right to Harper. Harper's going to cut it back but it's blocked by Callaghan. Harper again to Boardley. Boardley gets it across to Sanders on the left hand side. Sanders has got so much time on the ball. Montano into Pardo in the box to Willis. Blocked brilliantly by Okadina and is out to Pardo again. Montano to the edge to Boardley. This is the man that Rowe's supposed to be marking. Finds Walker again to Boardley. They've got so much time, the two of them, and Boardley's just having a lovely day out. It's like a training session for him. Rowe clears it long and you'll never guess what he's done. He's given it away and he's not even going to make it to half time. Brandon Kane comes on and with 5 minutes to the break we've made our first sub at 2-0 down. Idem with a free kick from outside his box again. Jarvis goes up and loses out. Kane wins it back and manages to keep the ball. He's already done more than Luke Rowe in this game, but this time McCarker gives it away. Now Clark at left back, who gets it again, goes all the way back to Idem. He had so many options going forward, or at least sideways. A long ball up which McCarker flicks on. The centre-halves missed it, but none of the strikers on attacking duties have gambled, and as a result it's straight through to the keeper. It's a long clearance by the Bath keeper, flicked on, Pardo's in, Idem makes yet another save. The two centre-halves haven't been great either, but this has been a really poor game and one of the worst performances I've seen at the club. We had a game last season on camera, it was well in, I think, the third episode, it was around November time, and we just had an awful day at the office and got absolutely trounced. This one looks exactly the same, and Pardo has another strike on the stroke half-time, but we survive it and it is just 2-0 at the break, but we have got a lot of work to do in this one. We've barely had a breather in that half because they've had so many highlights. We're going to tell them it was disappointing, and in fact we're going to be aggressive. It was really devastating how we played in that one. We've got the closing down opposition instructions on, and we're back with a Bath attack 15 seconds into the half, but luckily the cross is wayward and straight into the arms of Idem. Idem's going to go for a long kick, I presume. He does, over the top towards Jatta rather than the target man. It's like no one's playing with any common sense today. Bordley's got the ball in the middle to Walker, and we continue to lose out. Pardo's lobbed the keep. What's he doing? Oh, the second save he's made it. He came flying out. The centre forward just knocked the header over him, and at the second time of asking, he palmed it away. He made an absolute meal of it, but luckily he survived with a third good save. Templeton gets the ball out to the right to Harper. Harper into the middle and Williams low heads away. McCarker chased it down, but he doesn't get there, and Bordley gets the ball back to Sanders. Crosses it in for Willis. Clark wins it in the air, but it's straight back out to Bordley again. Harper on the right wing, back to Templeton, and they're just absolutely taking a mick out of us here. We cannot get near them. They are so dominant, and Bordley to Walker on the edge, who shoots again, but it's wide, and we're going to make some changes. We're going to go to support duty for Brandon Kane. He seems to be a bit too deep, and the centre midfielders get too much time on the ball. We're also going to go attacking. We've been going positive during this game, but we want to go a bit further forward because we're not getting any chances at the moment. Over the top, we're beaten by the long ball. Willis shoots from the edge, but it's blocked and Clark can clear. Over the top, Jatta's going to get nowhere near that, and Templeton gathers the ball at right back. He goes inside to Potts. Potts with a switch, but it's poor, and Daly will bring it down. Oh, the first touch. The first touch is terrible. What is going on today? This has just not been our side at all, and he then makes a meal of that, tipping it wide when he really should have held it. I have no idea how to explain what's happened today. We have been absolutely terrible, and with 5 minutes gone in the second half, we're just going to gamble. We're going to put Jatta on the left wing. We're going to take Halligan off for Francis. Jarvis will go into the advanced forward role with Leon Francis, the bigger target man. Hopefully he'll win some headers because he's a bit stronger in the air. And we're going to take a Sigwe off the centre-half who's been terrible. Rob Atkinson will come on for him, despite the fact he's extremely slow and can't chase a ball over the top. We're going to put Okadina as a covering centre-half, just on the hope that he won't get done by the long ball then. And let's get back into this game, where hopefully we can try to get a sniff of a chance. Kane gets a free kick from 30 yards, goes for the shot, hits the bar, down to Francis who scores. Oh, he's offside. I thought it was his first goal for the club. But Brandon Kane, the youngster's making things happen, and he's been the best player on the pitch for us since he's come on. But with an hour gone, it's made no difference. We're still 2 behind. Kane's given the ball away now, although I do blame McCarker more for that. Atkinson's lost out. He's got caught out of position and it's gone in behind, but he then makes another brilliant save to put it over the top. There's a corner with Bordley, an out-swinging ball to the back post for Pardo. Pardo's got the ball for them. He goes to Harper and Binks, sorry, it's not Banks, but he's put it over the bar, and it's another wasted chance for them, but we've been absolutely outplayed in this one. A quarter of the game to go, and we'll be lucky to get out of this at 2-0. It's Idem with a goal kick, 15 minutes left, long over the top towards Francis, brings it down brilliantly. What an effort that is, just wide of the post. I don't blame him for going alone, and at least he's looked like a bit of a bright spark since he came on in the couple of chances he's had. I know he was offside for the one that he scored, but it was just about getting in the position. He had the hunger to get there and react. Daly gets the ball into the middle, there's 2 in there, Francis with a header, and as I say that, he's wasted such a sitter. He could have put that anywhere either side of the keeper and it's in, but he heads it straight at him. But we are coming forward again with Kane. Gives the ball away, but it deflects to Williams low. Now Brandon Kane again into McCarker. McCarker over the top for Daly on the right. Crosses for Jarvis. Knocks it down for Francis and we've missed again. We've had so many good chances in the last 10 minutes, but the front two, namely Francis, has wasted all of them. And with 10 minutes to go, we're still 2-0 down. It's Bath this time on the attack with a throw on the left. Walker gets the ball out to the edge to Boardley. Boardley's got time and gets it to the left to Sanders. Sanders to Walker and Pardo. Good quick play and he then tips it behind. I don't know why he didn't hold that. That one looked like it trickled at him. The cross deflected and he was out of position, but he should have got there with time to spare. Francis heads the corner away. The other benefit to him being that defensive play, but the ball's into Willis and thankfully he was offside because he would have put it in for 3 otherwise. We've got to throw in a defensive position with Clark for Jatta. Jatta goes long forward to Jarvis. Jarvis puts it to Francis, who's miscontrolled it. And even Francis is having a bad time now. No one's had a good game here, really. And we'll be lucky to get out of this with 2. I just want the whistle to go now, because we've had enough of this game. It's been absolutely awful all over the pitch. Even when we've attacked well, which we have a few times, we've made an absolute meal of our chances. Pardo's in now. He's going to cross for Willis. Deflects away and Okadina clears. Kane gets it to Makaka. We bring the ball away, but the highlight ends as we go into stoppage time. Just the 2 minutes added on, we've gone past them already. Jatta flicks the throw-in on and Templeton clears. The whistle goes, we lose 2-0, and make no mistake, Bath will be right up there this season, but it just proves that we're nowhere near as strong as we were last year. Adam Clark's not as good defensively as Dearman was. The keeper's no better despite his better rating. We're weaker at right back because we don't have an option with Atkinson when Williams-Lowe's failing like he did today. And I wouldn't mind having Oscar Ramirez back in central midfield. We haven't got a left winger that's as strong as any of the ones we had last year, so we've got a disappointing day at the office, and I'm starting to feel a little bit negative as a result. I'm sure you can tell that from the last 10 minutes. I'm far from pleased with what I've seen. Make no mistake, we were as bad as Bath were good. They're up to second in the league, and it looks like there's going to be a couple of teams running away with the league this season. Bromley are back up there ahead of us again as well, but we're now 4 points off the playoffs and holding on to a place in the top half. Hopefully some jobs will come up soon, because we did take Slough as far as we could last year, and our director of football's not helping make this side better. We'll see what they've said about the game. Bath have eased to victory. It's a perfect summary. We didn't look like winning at any stage of the game, and we were lucky to come out with a 2-0 defeat in truth. Let's look at the schedule for when we plan to next be back. Obviously it will change if we get another job somewhere else. I think we'll go for that St Albans one towards the end of October, a club that's quite local to me, and I'm sure based on real life expectations we'll be expected to do quite well this year. I'd be surprised if they weren't a top half side. Where are they at the moment, just so we get an indication? They're down in the bottom half, but they're only 5 points behind us, so that could very much change by the time we play them. But that will be all for this episode. If you did enjoy it, please remember to put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know down in the comments what you think of our start. Do you think our director of football's done good business, or has he really sold us short this season after our overachievements last year? Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories, this one the head coach, as well as my other football manager story, part of the furniture with Torquay United, the one club challenge where we tried to take them to the top of world football. There's also weekly content from FIFA 19, a lower league career mode with Crewe Alexandra, where again we tried to take them to the top of English football. But a massive thanks for watching this one as always, and we'll see you next time.